So these young people didn't have to leave the Catholic Church to learn how to pray.
This is New York. This is where our story takes place. It's a love story between 8 million people and a baseball team. But this love affair takes place in broad daylight and at the top of its lungs. How do you explain this love affair? Baseball fans usually fall for only the great teams. And in baseball, there have been many far greater than the Mets. And there have been greater heroes than the Mets. The immortal Babe. Bill Dickey. Mel Ott, a giant with a bat. Lou Gehrig. Joe DiMaggio. The splendid splinter, Ted Williams, one of the 400 hitters. The wily Whitey Ford and Yogi Berra. Bobby Thompson of the Giants hit that pennant-winning home run against Brooklyn. New York went steady with him for years. But the adoration accorded the Flying Scotsman was just a crush compared to what the fans felt for the Mets. New York first met the Mets here at an informal little get-together. They were introduced to each other by this matchmaker from Manhattan, Casey Stengel. He invited some friends over to his place to meet the new team in town. It was a blind date, and it was love at first sight. The New York fans fell head over heels. This is a new breed of baseball fans. Sensitive, emotional, and creative. There are slogans and poems, and they come from the heart. Cards are created by the hundreds, and every day is Valentine's Day. A team that has a dog for a mascot can't be all bad. This is Homer. He's one of the few homers the Mets see all season. The Mets have a rough first year, but the fans never blame them. The Mets moved to the sunny South to begin spring training. Casey was determined this year that the Mets would not fall below last place. Rookies battle veterans for a berth. Some of the veterans on the Mets are almost 22 years old. The rookies are gathered from all over the country. To make the Mets, you have to have ability. But more important, you have to be lovable. Some made it, some didn't. Casey has his back to the camera. He doesn't want you to see a grown manager cry. Every game, the trumpet sounds. The Mets hear the call to greatness. But the line is always busy. As any couple knows, the first year is always the hardest. The Mets lose game after game, but the fans never lose hope. Baseball has never seen anything like it. Is it a question of rooting for the underdog? Maybe it's because the fans fell for the Mets on the rebound. Even at spring training, the marvelous Mets draw big crowds. There's a lot of excited talk about the coming season. When it comes to talking, Casey talks for the Mets.
50, 60, 70-year-old people. They're now following baseball. They follow it through television and the newspapers. What do? Right now, they know the names of our players. They're looking for the team to go up. They're pulling for you whether they're in New England, whether they're around New York City. We have a following around Missouri, Oklahoma, around in Maine. They've watched them on television and so forth, and they say we're trying to see that little team get to the top. That's the reason why we're drawing so well through the turnstile, and we're going into a new ball club, greatest in baseball. There'll never be anything built this good. It'll have escalators, everything of comfort, any kind of a meal that you want to desire. Now it's up to the Mets to do the winning, and you'll never get sick when you're watching the Mets this summer.
The Mets and their fans settle down in their own place. Alone together at last place. The man who started this whole romance by introducing the Mets to the fans. He was also their best man. And so the fans give him a gift of love. No matter where he is, no matter where he goes, Casey will always be #1 in the hearts of the Met fan. And so, as the Mets sink slowly into the cellar, we say goodbye. But they'll be back next year and the next. And one day, we hope there'll be a little addition to the family, the National League pennant. Because every love story should have a happy ending.